So my father passed away about 10 years ago, and one of the things that I can still remember him saying very vividly, it was in a conversation we were having and marijuana was brought up, and he said when it came to smoking, he wasted a lot of money and wasted a lot of time. And this always stuck with me after he passed. And when I think about my own journey smoking marijuana, when it first started, I was probably 13, 14 years old, and I spent essentially a couple decades smoking, right? And over time, there has been a lot wasted, and I've also lost a lot of money because of it, right? When I think back on everything that I've spent from the time that I was, that high school age, and if I would have been saving it, if I would have been investing it, right? And that's the thing too. It's like, we're not just talking about money lost spending it to buy it, right? We're talking about losing potential on having our money make money, right? Because we can take our money and put it somewhere and have it grow. But instead, we're essentially robbing ourselves to get high. And I'm not villainizing it, right? Like, I'm not saying that there aren't people that can control this well, right? You could still go to work and still be a productive individual, but if it's slowing you down, if you're using it excessively, right? Because we want to be able to have moderation with these type of things, and we want to make sure that it's not abusing us, right? Or we're not abusing it. And so we just got to make sure that we're not wasting our time and our money to the point where it's like hurting us, right? We're not spending so much where we really do over time compound losses instead of gains, because we're just spending all the time smoking and getting high. And it does, if it makes you more lazy, if you see it slows you down, it doesn't make you really productive, like, you have to be aware of when this is doing that, right? And you also have to be aware of why you're using it, because I know some people, they'll become addicted to that feeling essentially, right? Because they might be dealing with some kind of depression or anxiety or things of that nature. And I'm not saying that it can't have its medicinal benefits, but at the same time, do we want to be dependent on a substance for that type of thing where we cannot regulate ourselves well enough to where we need weed to abuse essentially, right? And so we don't want to have that kind of dependency if we can avoid it. And so, like I said, if you are struggling with it right now, I would recommend that you leave notices up, leave reminders in your car. Like, if you're going to go to the dispensary, put something on your dashboard saying, invest instead, right? So every time you're thinking about buying that $30 or $40 eighth, put it in a stock instead, and then watch that grow over a couple years and see how much happier you'll be if you did that for a year instead of smoking for a year. And then at the same time, you're also not abusing your body, you're not abusing your lungs, because I know there's people that are longtime smokers that maybe they never have anything go wrong with them, maybe they have strong genes, but there is that percent chance. It increases, right? When you do smoke excessively, you have a chance of getting things like lung cancer, getting things like COPD. And I've come across a couple chronic smokers. There was one guy that I took care of in the home healthcare field, and he smoked weed every day and got COPD in his 60s. And even after getting this, he still continued to smoke until his passing, pretty much. And it did, I would say, probably rob him, right? If he would have been taking care of his health, he could have lived longer, right? Because we see people go into their, 70s and 80s that are still, fit, still active, and still doing the best they can to live life, sober and as healthy as possible, right? And there is a difference. So, we do have to be mindful. We just have to make sure that, we're not abusing these things, that they're not becoming long-term addictions, and just make sure you're not wasting your money and your time, right? Because money, of course, we can get back, but time is something that once it's gone, it's gone. So, if weed is stopping you from being as productive as you can be, then let's try some time without it, right? So my full love to you guys. I hope that made sense. I hope you all are having a great day. Keep turning up. And until next time, we will talk soon.